I know it's been 2 weeks, I apologize, but I'm back and there's a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. Before we get started, a quick message. Subscribe if you're not already. Okay, moving on. To kick us off, 2 weeks ago, Trick No Treat had been sent out, and some people had received it before Halloween. I had 2 of my bags before Halloween, the ones that I got from the NFTs, and we're finding that those that ordered 10 bags actually got a sealed case, all with the same mask. It turns out there are 5 masks in total, not 10. You have Mothman, Frogman, Indrid Cold, Momo, and Lechuza, and all of those masks have associated cards in the main set. There are 14 cards in the main set with non-holo, reverse holo, and holo variants, some of them only with holo and non-holo, and there are also 5 second edition Halloween cards, all reverse holo. Another influencer medal was also given out last week, and this went to Joker's Favor, a member of the community. Joker's Favor is somebody that you have seen literally everywhere. Anything that I see that has to do with MetaZoo, Joker's Favor is there. At this point, for me, MetaZoo and Joker's Favor are synonymous with each other. So I'm really glad that Joker's Favor is being recognized for the time that he puts into MetaZoo. And I know this video is coming out late, but Joker, congratulations, it is well deserved. For those of us ready for SCP, we also got a drop of a spoiler for SCP. This is art that depicts many of the beasties that will be featured in the SCP set. On one of the doors, you can see it labeled SCP-682, which is a giant lizard-like being that is very rageful. It needs to be kept in a 5 meter by 5 meter by 5 meter cube, and nobody's allowed to talk to it. It also needs to be submerged at all times in hydrochloric acid. Now, I didn't take the time to research every SCP that is depicted in this image, but the orange Grimer-looking creature there is SCP-999. And for what I've seen for the SCP beasties, that's probably the cutest one, and I can't wait to add it to my collection. MetaZoo also decided to show everybody the art for my card, and it depicts me making people think that they are a toaster and trying to emulate my primary function. I'm a really interesting SCP, and I'm really glad that MetaZoo decided to include me in their set. If you participated in the Flork shirt drop, that'll start shipping on Monday, November 7th. That should be the day that you are viewing this if I got it out in time. The shirts are blind box, and you will get a promo with the box. We ended off last week with the Salem event, which was just an amazing time in Salem, Mass. There were exclusive promos, there was booths set up all around Salem, and the community got together to just have a great time in Salem, play games together, and enjoy just a wonderful event that was put on by Ted and his crew. I did do a rundown video of Salem. You can catch that right up in that link up there. And I would like to again thank everybody involved in making that event happen. It was my first MetaZoo event, and I can't wait to go to more if they're going to be like that. We've started seeing some of the ornaments that we can expect for the Christmas drop this year. We've seen a ding bell on top of a present, and we've seen the Loveland Frogman that's used in New Year's New Beginnings. Seeing that the images for Ding Bell and Loveland Frogman are emulating the images that were used in previous pages for the holiday set, I would expect that we're also going to see Gingerbread, Santa Claus, and maybe Abominable Snowman. There is still no estimated timeline on when we can purchase these, but I imagine it's going to be soon so we can purchase them and have them in hand to get on our trees, or whatever you decorate for the holidays, to enjoy them for the winter season. The UFO eBay lunchboxes are finally shipping. I did, I think 2 weeks ago, say that they were shipping then. I was wrong. I saw a shipping notification for those, but I believe it might have been a one-off or for a partner. We have recently been seeing teases of those at the warehouse in boxes, so they are showing up at MetaZoo for distribution. And seeing the contents of the lunchboxes, I'm really excited not only for the cards, but for some of the accessories that go with it, specifically the status counters. So we can expect to be receiving those in hand soon and opening up our UFO eBay packs. We did get an updated reserve list, and there are a number of additions that we should talk about. Some that I was actually surprised about. For the Cryptid Nation set, we saw no changes. It is the Orifax and Mothman. For Nightfall, we have the addition of the Artifact Essences, so this is a good sign that Artifact Essences going forward will be on the reserve list. For Wilderness, we have the sigils and the artifact essences, as well as the Prism Aura, which is completely expected. So those of you looking to hopefully get a Prism Aura that is not full holo, not from the Wilderness set, definitely start looking at getting those now before those skyrocket in price. For UFO, again, we have all of the orbs and we have the artifact essences. Neutrality Totality Aura is also included on the list, so any special aura going forward we can expect to be added to the reserve list. We can expect Possessed Aura to be added to the reserve list in the next round. The theme deck promos were also added for Wilderness and UFO. And the interesting thing here that was added is actually New Beginnings. So not only is New Year's New Beginnings on the reserve list, but New Beginnings, which is similar, but shuffles your chapter into your spell book instead of putting it in the cemetery. And the release event deck promos for Wilderness and UFO were also added to the reserve list. Again, New Beginnings was called out here as well. For the blister pack promos, Cumberland Dragon from Wilderness was called out, but the ones from UFO were not. They are functionally similar to the ones in the core UFO set, and that's likely why. There's no saying what that means for Seance, since the blister packs in Seance are functionally different. The Walmart promos for Piasa Bird and Dragon of Akanto Falls were added, and the secret rares for Green Man and the bronze, silver, and golden tickets were also added to the reserve list. Note that none of the UFO secret rares were added. Those were serialized rares that were copies of cards from the core set. For HiroQuest, everything that was unique to HiroQuest was added to the list. There are a number of cards there, and that's really interesting that those will not be reprinted again. So if you're looking to complete the HiroQuest cards or get a playset of them, definitely look for those. The Rudy promos were updated for this reserve list, as well as many other miscellaneous cards like the What's Your Passion jewelry promos, the NFT token medals, Caster's Cup cards, NFT promos for Wilderness and UFO, Unrefined Chaos Crystal and Soul Gamble from Revive were both called out. Those were unique cards to that set, as well as Green Goblin, New York City King, and Flork of Beasties. So there's your updated reserve list. Definitely check it out. Consider getting cards that you don't have. They will not be reprinted again. And look at the layout of that reserve list to guess what the future reserve list will look like so you know what to collect for Seance and beyond. Mike had given us a history lesson this week that he had asked Kelsey to actually hand draw the aura symbols for MetaZoo, and these are actually very beautiful pieces of art that could have been used to depict the aura types. And while I do like the art used here better, I do feel like it would have been harder to differentiate at a smaller scale like we see with the aura cost on pages. I do think it would be interesting to see the art used in these images here to incorporate them into some of the aura art going forward. We're getting our first look at what the Seance Pin-Club boxes will look like, and they will not be pins for Seance. At a MetaZoo Hour, it was teased that these are actually going to be keychains. In that MetaZoo Hour, we got a look at Walking Sam, we got a look at Chibi Babe, which is so far my favorite, and we also got a look at the backside of a giraffe possum, which has the Pin Club stamp on it, which gave it away. And this week, we got a look at what the Wingok card looks like that will be produced, and it gives us an idea of what the keychain itself will look like. I am excited for the keychains. I feel like it is something that I would more likely use than the pins. When I was at Salem, I did see a number of fans there that had pins all throughout their backpacks or hats. I had my Babe the Blue Ox with me for the trip. So the Pin Club pins do seem pretty popular with the core fan group. And time will tell on the keychains, but I definitely look forward to adding it to my keychain. I touched on this in the MetaZoo Hour, but the MetaZoo Cryptid Nation book will go to the editors on December 1st, so we're definitely near the end of that. Mike's next priority is the TV script. So this is really exciting because things are definitely moving forward with the IP. We're getting to the point where the book can go to editing. It can be published after that. That'll be the first round of getting the IP into the wild, and the source material can then be used to build the scripts out for the shows, and that's when MetaZoo is going to blast into the scene. I personally can't wait to get updated timelines on both when we're going to have the book in hand and when the show will release. We do expect to get spoilers by the end of the year on the show. Similar to LGS kits, MetaZoo is going to be putting out streamer kits. These are designed to go to people who are doing live streams or are doing content for MetaZoo. You will have to sign up to receive one. You'll have to prove your channel, whether it be Whatnot, Twitch, YouTube, etc., in order to qualify to purchase one. And in the Discord, there's a new chat called MetaZoo Streamers where you can go to promote your live streams. In that room, when it was created, we had conversations about what we'd like to see in the streamer kits. And as part of that conversation, Mike did say that he doesn't expect them to be free. He expects that they will need to be purchased. And there was a lot of interesting ideas thrown around in there of what could be included in the streamer kits, from exclusive promos to exclusive pins for Pin-Club or keychains, MetaZoo branded top loaders, the MetaZoo displays from Stand Up Displays Co. So there's a lot of different things that MetaZoo could do with the streamer kits, and I hope that they're not specifically geared to sellers. I do hope to get one and use the contents as part of the trivia giveaways each week. But like most things with MetaZoo, time will tell, and once I have information on what is in the streamer kit, we'll talk about it. If you liked HiroQuest, get ready for HiroQuest 2.0 or HiroQuest Remix. MetaZoo is going to be partnering with 4 different music partners to release blister packs for HiroQuest 2.0. The first partner is Spotify, so the blister pack and the cards in the blister pack will be Spotify branded. They will also include a QR code on the card that, when you scan it, will bring you to the HiroQuest 2.0 CD in Spotify. The other 3 partners that MetaZoo will be working with are YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Amazon Music, so we'll see blister packs for all of those partners as well, with QR cards that'll bring you to their specific streaming service for HiroQuest 2.0. We'll get our first drop of HiroQuest 2.0 on November 11th. It's unclear if that will be for all partners or just Spotify. Now, if you've been wondering where your Wilderness Revive is, I don't have an update, but we did get a tease that there is another skateboard partnership coming with Bear Walker. Could this have something to do with the reason that Wilderness Revive has been delayed? It's possible, and some of the reason for the frustration with Wilderness Revive is how quiet MetaZoo has been about it. But that could be because of legal reasons while dealing with this transition from Revive to Bear Walker. And that is an assumption that I am making, is that Revive will be replaced with Bear Walker. We don't have any confirmation on that specifically, but I do think it would be odd for MetaZoo to work with Revive and Bear Walker at the same time to produce skateboards. But now that Bear Walker has been announced, I hope we get some more answers on why Wilderness Revive has been delayed and why they've been silent about it. And if you're not familiar with Bear Walker, definitely look them up. Look what they did with the Pokemon boards that they put out. I'm really excited after what I've seen there with what they can do with MetaZoo. And that's not to knock Revive in any way. The boards there are beautiful. I'm really excited to receive my Wilderness Revive boards, and I'm really happy with the boards that I already have. But I just feel like the style that I've seen on some of the Pokemon boards with Bear Walker is just perfect for displaying on a wall. If you have the Genesis NFTs, those are continuing to be transferred to the new Genesis NFTs. And we're getting a look at the first promos that will be given to the Genesis NFT holders. This one is the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot art itself, and most likely all of the beasties that will be depicted on the Genesis cards, was done by Andy. And the background for this page was done by Lily. We don't have a clear timeline on when those will be received, but we can expect that it will be relatively soon, probably likely once the transfer from Genesis to Neo Genesis is done. For last week's question, I had asked if I have a Frank Shaw's Gargoyle, and my opponent has a Ketz, a Thunderbird, and 2 Poltergeists, all fatigued. The Frank Shaw's Gargoyle attacks the Thunderbird. How many of the opponent's beasties are left at the end of combat? And the answer there is 1. The only surviving beastie is Quetzalcoatlus because of Frank Shaw Gargoyle's attack. The attack text reads that it does 10 damage to all opposing beasties. That 10 damage then gets an extra 20 damage for aura advantage against the Poltergeist and takes them out. So everybody that got that correct is on the spin wheel, and we're going to give that a spin to figure out who wins this week's gift card to Immortal Workshop for $15. And the winner is Clarky McClarkface. And for this week's trivia question, if you have an empty arena and you contract Casey Jones, let's say you have Ghost Train in your spellbook, what is the maximum damage that you can do to the opposing caster on that turn? And let's also assume, just for the sake of the trivia question, that you don't contract any further pages from your chapter for that turn. Answer that question correctly, and you're in the running for next week's gift card to Immortal Workshop for $15. So the big thing to talk about this week is all of the secret rares that have been pulled in the last 2 weeks. For Seance, there have been 10 pulled across 9 different beasties. All of them are serialized rare out of 20, and those 10 include Lady Luck, Shanahook, Sheepsquatch, Basket Ogress, Calipod, Glacial Demon, Wingok, 2 Sentry Box Devils, and a Ghost of Sloss Furnaces. Now, for these serialized rares, the difference here is that they're, well, serialized, but the holo pattern actually has a ghosting of the image of the beastie. So for Sentry Box Devil, a Sentry Box Devil can be seen in the holo pattern. So the assumption that I'm making right now is that all of the gold rare beasties that we've seen have a serialized form with this holo pattern. It's unclear if spells and artifacts would also have this treatment, but I highly doubt it with things, especially like the orbs, which would just be round blobs in the background. You wouldn't be really able to tell what it is. And on top of those serialized rares, I do expect a secret rare to still exist, and it's likely going to be a 1 of 1. About a month ago, Mike had teased a gold ring in the announcement channel. This had the Seance symbol on the top of the ring with a ruby encrusted in it. And around that same time, Andy had left a message in chat saying, hey, wouldn't it be really interesting if the chase for Seance resulted in a reward of some kind? So I think that there is one card out there somewhere that will get you the ring that Mike showed us. But that's not all for secret rare pulls this week. Just over 6 months after Wilderness has released, someone has finally pulled a bronze ticket. Now the bronze ticket, if you remember, will result in getting a Kickstarter box. So pulling that ticket alone is about a $5,000 value to whoever pulled it. Now the first time I saw this shown was from LPA's Discord, and Bailey had congratulated Ryan for the pull. Now I'm not sure who exactly pulled it, whether that was LPA pulling it for Ryan, or if Ryan pulled it themselves, or who is Ryan? But Ryan, whoever you are, congratulations. That is a huge deal. And I can honestly say that I'm incredibly excited for you, as is most of the community. Now that still does leave the silver ticket from Wilderness that we haven't seen yet. So definitely keep ripping if you're still looking for tickets. And the silver ticket results in a prototype Mothman card once you pull that. And for the secret rares, if you'd like to stay up to date or look back at what's been pulled, you can go to MetaZooSR.com, which is run by Alan Jai, a member of the community, and you can find secret rares for Wilderness, UFO, Seance, and even Pin-Club. So if you haven't already, definitely check out that website. It is a key place to go to see what's been pulled for secret rares. Well, that's all I really had to cover for the last 2 weeks. Thankfully, the week before Salem was pretty quiet, so this video should be about the normal length. I'm happy to be back on schedule, and I look forward to releasing more videos throughout the next week. If you didn't catch last week's MetaZoo Hour, you can catch that right there. There's a lot of interesting details there. Specifically, we now know the location of 3 towers. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.